Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. And today, I'm going to do something just a little bit different from normal. You see, it's November 1st. It's the last day of daylight time here in the United States for the year 2025. And I want to make videos when it comes to daylight saving time changes. I want to make videos that are kind of make it fun. And I know that a lot of people, they don't think it's fun at all. They can't stand the daylight saving time changes and the disruption to their sleep and other habits. And so, it's hard to say, well, hey, isn't it fun? I think it's fun because I get to spend a little bit of time with all of my clocks and watches, and I have a vast collection of both. So, to be able to go look at them, make sure they're all running right and synchronize them and set them to the right time and all that, and it's kind of fun for me. So I thought maybe this time, to have a little bit of fun, I would kind of walk around and show you around the place a little bit and just show you some of my clocks and watches that are some of my favorites to have to deal with for the daylight saving time change. So they're all going to have to go back 1 hour tonight. Or, some people, they like to start as early as they can, maybe turn them back today, first thing in the morning, and all day Saturday, you're living like it's the time change, and that kind of helps you to adjust. But the members of my family are not quite happy with that idea because, they really want to know, what time is it really? So I have to be a little bit judicious about which watches and clocks get set, on the right time, or right before bedtime Saturday night, or a little bit early. And I'm using this clock right here, just a little travel clock from Oregon Scientific. This is an atomic time receiver, so it's correct right down to the second. And I'm going to walk around with this, and this is going to help me to figure out which clocks need to be adjusted, and they'll be adjusted, perfectly accurately. Now, I'm starting out here because one of the clocks that actually impresses me quite a bit, a couple of them, are inside this Ford Explorer. This is the company car, right? So let's take a look here and see what the Ford Explorer has to offer as far as timekeeping is concerned. Okay, so I have here, and I'm just going to start the engine so that all these things get started up. So right here is a GPS receiver, and this one's nice. It's a Garmin. And you would say, well, you don't really need that anymore because a lot of these cars have GPS built in, or you're using your phone to navigate, so you don't really need a dedicated GPS receiver anymore, do you? And well, I use this one because I already had it before I had all these smart devices in the car, and it also allows me to store my travel logs, and I haven't found an easy way to store that off of the car's navigation system, but I certainly can do it off of the Garmin navigation system. So 339, this is of course regulated by GPS, the satellites in the sky that have the correct time, atomic time, right down to the second. So this one will be very accurate, and it will change itself automatically when the time comes. Now the car has its own, I don't even know exactly what it is, because it's Ford's built-in 5G or something like that. This is getting cellular data, which allows it to have like built-in Google Maps here in the car. So even if I'm not using the GPS receiver or my phone, the car has maps, and it can navigate me to sites and things. So this one, it also has itself set to the the right time, atomic time, and I don't know if it's getting it from an internet connection through the cellular network, or if it has some sort of GPS built into it as well, maybe the two working together. I'm really not sure, but what I do know is that this one keeps the right time, which used to be kind of a tricky thing for car stereos. They didn't always operate with the correct time. They drift just as much as a computer that's not connected to the internet, which could be a few seconds a week. But this one stays accurate, and I believe the last time there was a change for daylight saving time, this one did it automatically by itself. So I won't have to do anything to this. Now I have a car stereo in my Corolla that's not the original one that came with it. The Corolla is over 12 years old already. So the original stereo started to go bad. I replaced it with a Kenwood that has a GPS assistance on it. So the idea with that is that if I'm using the phone, like Apple CarPlay, and I have a touchscreen similar to this in the car, in the Corolla, it will grab the correct time from the satellite the car stereo, the Kenwood, has GPS assistance built into it. There's a little just a little antenna thing that sits up here on the dash. That's where I installed it. And so what it does is when you're using the phone and the phone is plugged into the car and you're using it for navigation, then perhaps the phone inside the car is not getting great GPS reception that it would be getting if it were like on the dash, which is not a great place to leave the phone while you're driving around. So instead, you get GPS assistance through the car radio and the phone working together. But the bottom line on that is what it accomplishes for me is that when I'm not using the phone in the car is still going to set its own clock correctly because of the GPS data that it is receiving. However, on this particular model that I put in the Corolla, I think the last time we had a change for daylight saving time, it did not automatically make that change. I'll have to go in, tonight or tomorrow and actually tell the car, okay, let's change it to not daylight saving time, and then it will be correct. And again, it won't drift because of that GPS connection that's built in to the stereo. The car radio will not drift significantly off of the correct time, over the weeks and months that I'm using it. So I really like that, having a car stereo that will set the time correctly, just something I wasn't used to having when I was a teenager first starting to drive cars. Okay, now in the house, here's one of my favorites in the whole house, the Howard Miller grandfather clock, which I got about 5 years ago. And so this one, okay, it's mechanical. Doesn't set itself to the correct time using GPS. It keeps really good time based on the position of the pendulum up or down, that big, big part of the pendulum down there. If you move it up, the pendulum will swing back and forth slightly faster. If you move it down, it will swing back and forth slightly slower. And it's pretty much dialed in to keep really good time right now. But so it used to be, back in the old days, you'd watch in the cartoons and something, they had a cuckoo clock or a clock like this, and they wanted to quickly change the time. They would just put their finger on the hand here and move it forward or backward. Now, this particular clock, I'm told it's not a good idea to just grab that and move it backward. So I don't do that. Some mechanical clocks are okay with that. This one, I'm told, is not. So if this were a little bit slow, I could just nudge it. Oh, hey, just in time for actual chimes. Check that out. Okay, so if I wanted to move it ahead a little bit, I could just kind of nudge it with my finger, just tap it up like that, and that would be okay to do. But when I want to slow it down by 1 hour, really the best thing to do is just reach in here and don't touch the brass, because it's kind of, fingerprint oils are bad for that. But I can just reach up here and just stop it from swinging. And then I can maybe set a timer for 1 hour or, whatever it takes to make sure that I get that right. And, or I guess the other thing I could do on this is I could move it ahead 23 hours, but then that would affect the moon dial. And the moon dial is also pretty much accurate at the moment. So I'm just going to leave that sitting there for about an hour, come back and start it up again, and that will be my 1 hour adjustment for the grandfather clock, or floor clock if you want to use a more neutral term. I've got a clock here. This one is not radio controlled, but this one I can just dial it back like that. Just a quartz clock, very pretty, very nice, but this is not mechanical, just really quartz. This one, I haven't made a video about this one yet. This is a Lacrosse Technology atomic alarm clock, kind of the old style of alarm clocks from back when I was growing up, but this one is radio controlled atomic time receiver. So it's about my smallest analog clock that's not a watch, that is an atomic time receiver. So I don't have to do anything about this one. It will set itself tonight and make that change automatically. Let's see what else I got here. Okay, I got the thermostat here, and this one, I replaced the original thermostat just a few years ago with this programmable thermostat that's also connected to the internet, so that if I'm going to come home late or something, I can delay, the air conditioner or the heater or whatever, or I can be anywhere in the house and change the setting of the heater or the air conditioner without having to come up to this little control panel here. But this one is connected to the internet, so it will also update itself to the correct time. Although I have to admit, I almost never come to this to find out what time it is, but it is right there. So that one will take care of itself. The program, if it's supposed to come on at certain times or go off at certain times, that will all be updated automatically. It'll keep that schedule, but with the new time change. This one, actually, this is a clock I bought. It was from a company that sells clocks and watches and devices to help people with maybe vision problems or just certain you might call them disabilities or whatever. So this one was just an extra large clock for people who have a hard time seeing the clock. It had a regular quartz movement in it, but after I got it, I switched it off to an atomic time receiver. So this one will actually set itself to the right time. And this is a unusually large, beautiful clock that I have there. This one also I modified after I bought it, and this has an atomic time receiver in it. I've got a bedroom right there. All the clocks in there are atomic time receivers, so those are okay. The bathroom, the bathroom, I actually put an atomic time receiver there. So getting in a rush, getting ready for the day. This one will update itself automatically. In the bedroom, I've got some alarm clocks and things, and almost all of them will update themselves automatically using atomic time receivers that are built in. I've got one that won't, but I already switched that one, but that's one that my wife doesn't look at, so she's not going to get mad that one of the clocks is wrong. But all the rest of them are synchronized. They're going to stay that way. Now this one here, this is just a simple, indoor-outdoor thermometer device, and happens to have a clock built into it right there. So I manually set this one, even though a lot of the indoor-outdoor wireless thermometers like this are connected to atomic clock receivers. This particular remote unit is not, so I had to update that automatically, and that's already updated for tomorrow. I won't have to worry about it. Now the Geochron, love the Geochron, and the Geochron will set itself to the right time. And one of the neat things about this one, in fact, let me just show you real quick. Here on this Geochron, I got some custom pins I've put on here with just people I know and places I've been to, where you can see where right here, my friend over on the East Coast, it's already past sundown where he is, and then this is moving towards the west, that terminator line. But right here it's showing the current time in Atlanta, 5:50, and then down in Natchez, 4:50. Also up here in the Midwest, 4:50. But then as you get farther down this way, like Arizona, it's 2:50 because they're already on standard time. They didn't change. So, but it's fun to watch this if I happen to be up late at night doing the night owl thing. When this makes the change for Atlanta or the Eastern time zone, there for about an hour tonight, Atlanta and Natchez, which are two different time zones, will actually be the same time, because this one will go back to standard time and this one will still be on daylight time until it reaches 2 a.m. Natchez time, and then it'll go back an hour. So the neat thing about the Geochron is if you're up at night watching that, you will see that it shows the correct time where the changes are taking place. So Atlanta and Natchez and here in Missouri will all be the same time for a moment until they're all updated. So, okay, here I go. This is a neat clock I got a long time ago. It's not an atomic time receiver, but it does have some moving parts and it plays a little tune every hour. And I won't play that tune right now because of copyrights, because it just played the tune from Titanic. It plays some tunes from Beatles songs and stuff, and I don't want to have to worry about music copyrights on my videos. Anyway, this is not atomic. So I'm going to have to adjust that one right before bedtime. Some of the ones on the other wall over here are atomic, but I do have another mechanical clock. I did a video about this. This is from a kit that I put together years ago. And so this one winds up with a key, and this one is not going to set itself to the right time. It has to go back 1 hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like just a little Q-tip or just something and stop the movement that's going. It's got this little thing that twists back and forth. I'm going to put something in there to gently stop that for an hour, just like I did with the grandfather clock, and then restart that. That'll go. Yeah, this is all. Here's one I have to worry about. Okay, the stove and the microwave oven. All right. It's kind of frustrating that every now and then around here we have, and we're kind of a little bit in a rural setting, and so we might have a little power blip. The power goes off even for like 10 seconds and comes back on again. Sometimes it goes off because a cattle truck clipped a power line or a power pole or something, and then we're off for hours. But a lot of times if it's just a little blip, there's some maintenance going on, power goes off for like 10 seconds. And what that means is the clocks on the oven, the microwave and the stovetop, those clocks have to be reset. And it might happen overnight. So I didn't know what's going on, and then they're wrong, and they happen to be right next to each other, and sometimes it's hard to make sure they're synchronized to each other, let alone to the atomic clock, and it just always looks weird when they don't agree with each other. So, but this stove is fairly new. Bought this over the summer, so we have not experienced a daylight saving time change either forward or backward since I got this particular stove. This one, because it's new, they want to have it all internet connected to the General Electric app and all that stuff like that, and so I'm not really interested in connecting my appliances to the web somehow. But the reason I did it with this one is that one thing that it will do is it will set the clock automatically if I use the internet connection to this stove. And it's correct right down to the second. Sometimes it might be off by just 1 second, but it's really pretty close. And if there is that one of those little 10-second power blips, when the power comes back on, this will find the router and this will set itself to the right time. So, but what I haven't experienced with this stove, obviously, is the change from daylight saving time back to standard time. So I'm going to find out tonight. I can't remember exactly how I set this up, if there was a setting for, is it daylight saving time or not, or I don't know if it'll automatically change that or not. So it'll be something to look forward to in the morning. And if it's not correct, then I'll figure out what I need to do just to make that adjustment. Now I have a bunch of other clocks down here where the family watches TV. This one has the pendulum and has kind of fancy, not atomically controlled. I have a clock like this that is atomically controlled, but not this one. So. And there's another mechanical clock. This one is kind of a specialty one. They're not going to be setting themselves automatically, but these on the wall, those are atomically controlled. So those are going to set themselves. Some of these are, some of these aren't. And I've got others scattered all around the house. Some of them are atomically controlled, some of them aren't. And then you have the watches. Those and these and these and some that I have to buy some more cases. There's not enough room for all of them at the moment. Now, have no fear. Most of these watches will set themselves automatically tonight. These are all radio controlled, solar, atomic. So are all of these, and all of these, and 2/3 of these. So I already did the top row. All the rest will set themselves automatically tonight. All these G-Shock squares, solar, atomic, they're going to take care of themselves. As I was going through, see, these are solar, but they're not atomic, so I gotta set those. I was going through these, and here are these two watches since the last time I looked at the entire bunch of boxes in the last few weeks. These two have gone out. The batteries have run out. So I'm going to have to swap the batteries on these two, and then they'll be all ready to go. I'll just set them to the new time. These are half atomic, half not. To go through and double check these and those. And then, since I'm the only one that wears these watches, it won't bother anyone if I take the time right now to set all of these back an hour to the, back to standard time. So here we go. Okay, so just remember, go to bed early, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, the clock fairy is going to come and reset all the clocks in your house and turn them back tonight by 1 hour. So you want to be in bed, you want to be asleep, let the clock fairy do their business, and then it'll all be taken care of. And I'll see you again soon on another episode of the Good Timekeeping Show.